guys, how we doing today? This is going to be a video concerning Saleh's presser yesterday and then some stuff I came up with. But first, for you guys following, you remember I was crying about joining a fantasy football league? Okay. There's going to be 15 seconds. I'm down 4 going into last night. No, I'm down 20 something going into last night. Long story short, I'm down 4 in overtime. Okay? Some of you guys that watch the game know where this is going. The Raiders have the ball first and goal on the 4 or 5 yard line, and Carr throws a pass, but it's the first drive, so they're going to try to score, right? And he throws a pass, it goes off somebody's shoulder pad up in the air, and the Ravens intercept it. And then the back and forth nonsense starts all the way until like 4 minutes to go in the overtime. Looks like nothing's going to happen. And then the Ravens run a play, and Jackson gets sacked and stripped. And the Raiders recover the ball. And this is where it becomes the wildest ending to a fantasy football game ever. You cannot make this up. If you included everything that happened beforehand, which I'm not even going to list, it's insane what happened before. The Raiders now have the ball at the Raven 30, let's say, 35. They run a couple plays. They're at like the Raven 26, 27. And it looks like it's third down. It looks like they're going to kick a field goal. So they run the special teams team out on the field, on the field. But they have no timeouts left to kick this field goal. So they get called for a delay of game. You cannot make this crap up. The offense now comes back on the field. Carr gets in the shotgun, goes back to pass, but like is backpedaling real fast, like he just wants to waste a couple seconds, just in case I guess they missed the field goal. So the Ravens don't. I don't understand what the play was, but he backpedals real fast, and I guess he looks up, and there's a Raider flying from the slot cross field towards the right pylon. And he's got about 30 feet on his defender. And Carr, while he's backpedaling, throws a pass. I'm lefty, I'm sorry. Throws a pass. I mean, it had to go 40, 50 feet up in the air. And as it's coming down, the Raven guy, he's so wide up, the Raven guy stops running. Like if this guy had bobbled the ball a little bit because it was such a ridiculously high pass, he probably could have caught up to him and tackled him, but he stops running. And the Raider guy catches the pass and goes into the end zone, and the Raiders win the game. Now, why is that important? I've got Carr, right? I'm down 4. This is a two quarterback league, by the way. That's why I got Carr. I'm down 4. The touchdown ties it. But the pass is like a 20-something yard pass, and it puts him over 425 yards for another point. And I win by 1. 141 to 140. Can you believe this crap? Can you believe this crap? And the best part about it is I didn't watch it. I was watching the game, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I wanted to watch the rest of this thing too. And I was getting a little bored in the third quarter. And I put on a Doors documentary, and I totally forgot about the game. So all of a sudden I'm going to bed, and it's around like, I don't know, I woke up, I couldn't get to sleep. It's around 1 o'clock or something, and I'm like, oh man, the game, wonder what happened. So I was going to walk over to the computer just to find out the score real quick, and I said, no, let me sit down. So I sit down on the TV, I put the big screen on, put on YouTube on there real quick, and I go highlights Raiders, and I watched the whole entire, I fast forward through the first half, and I watched the whole damn thing. And I just couldn't believe it. So I don't know exactly the points, right? So then I walk over to the computer, I click my game, and there it is, 141 to 140. Fantasy football. Is it the best? God, it's crazy. Crazy. That's my first game back in fantasy football in I don't know how long. Anyway, let's get to our New York Jets. And listen, I told you guys a long time ago, I am a homer. I am a homer. I love the Jets. Another team can't speak bad about them, but I can. But when I'm don't like the way things are going, or I'm not happy with certain things, I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to be like, I see some of the home, I just can't understand why you want to be like that. You got to be honest with it, right? So anyway, there's a few things we got to talk about. First of all, injuries. Let's go to the Saleh presser. Joyner out for the year. I'm sure a lot of you know that already. Sherwood's going to be a few weeks. Cashman is going to be a few weeks. The story of his life. Man will be out 4 to 6 weeks. They're going to bring in a punter. No, Amendola won't do the punting the rest of the season. Mackay right now is out 4 to 6 weeks at least, he said. And when asked why, he said at least because he's getting further tests and all this other good stuff. And if anything comes up, anything else pops up, it'll be longer. But right now it's 4 to 6 weeks. It was a dislocated kneecap. God, how disgusting can you get? Okay, presser, injury signings. Yes, there's going to be signings. They're definitely going to bring people in. And then the press conference started. And I don't know if you guys saw the press conference, but there's two things. Number one, I'm starting to get Saleh's press conferences. I'm starting to get, what he does is, he goes a little vanilla, and he gets his point out, and he gives you a lot of information. I mean, he gave information in the preseason to me that I knew that the cornerback situation was an issue. He gives you a lot of information, who he's unhappy, who he's not happy with, where there could be possible changes. He just gives you a lot of information. You just got to, you got to really listen to what he's saying, because what happens is what he does is he starts out very vanilla, does that, gets in there, and then ends it with, cotton candy. And you just got to, listen to the middle of it, because he's going to give you, if he's not happy about something, he's going to give it to you. That's one thing about him. I like that for me, because I like reading into crap like that, but we'll see. Okay. And what he did today, several things. The first thing he started to do, actually yesterday, is you can tell he is not happy with his offensive coordinator. He is not happy with his offensive coordinator. When he talked about the game in the first half, he says, listen, it's new for the coaching staff. That was the first little blow, but that could be referencing him. It could be referencing his defensive coordinator. It could be referencing everybody. But then he starts going into more detail. And he's asked about, why did I do that? Hold on, I'm sorry, guys. Presser, coach reference, all the injury, signing people. Yeah, so that was his first reference. How did he feel about the first half? And he went into, everybody, the coaches have to prepare better, get the players ready, but, the whole thing, okay? So that was his first one. I didn't read who he's talking about. I just read that as, well, that's honest. He then gets the Bill Belichick questions. He gushes over Bill, but in a very respectful, nice way. I thought it was, Belichick's going to love hearing it. Belichick loved the Jet coaches that gushed on him. He'd always give him big hugs and everything, and the ones that didn't, he would, not even make eye contact with. He loves when they gush on him. Protecting quarterback, right? He then gets asked about the offensive line, and he starts going into it. And that's when you could start to see he starts to reveal. He says, when you're talking about a quarterback that's under so much pressure all game long, it's a collective thing. It starts with the coaching, which means the play calling. If it's not play calling if it's he calls a certain play and it happens. It's play calling if it's happening all game long, because you're not what he's. You guys know he's you're not running plays. I mean, for us simpletonians, okay, the first thing you think of is, why didn't you run more draws, to slow down the rush? Why don't you throw some screen passes? But LaFleur has a hell of a lot more stuff in his bag than draws and screen passes to slow down that kind of rush, right? Because I don't know if draws would have done it, quite honestly. But that's what he basically started to reference that. And he said it was over. And then he said, if you look at the whole thing, if you take every single play individually, and he sort of then knocked the press and the media a little bit, everybody a little bit, fans and everybody. He goes, I know you guys graded out a certain way. He goes, how we graded out is if you looked at every single play individually, you would say, okay, that was the coach. He started with coach every time. That was the coaching. That was the quarterback. That was the offensive. That was the right tackle. He didn't say right. He didn't give players positions. That was the offensive line. That was this. That was that. It's a collective thing. And we have to do a better job as a coaching staff in protecting a quarterback again. And so what his basic thing was after this game, he had to turn to LaFleur and say, hey, wait a minute. This guy, every single play that was called for him, had him needing that normal NFL, 4.4, 4.5 seconds in the pocket? Every single play. There was no quick outs to the receivers. There was one. It was dropped. One was dropped by, no, that was the preseason game. One was to Moss, and it lost like 3 yards, and one was to somebody else. But, quick slants, that kind of stuff. You know what I'm talking about. There was nothing, everything was, your standard quick, back in the pocket, play action, back in the pocket. And if you're not protecting the quarterback, there was no 4.5 seconds for Zach, So you can tell he talked to LaFleur and he said, there has to be some kind of recognition by you that what you're calling, our quarterback doesn't have time to do. We're gonna get the guy killed. And then after that, he goes, but we're just everybody's on the same page. And then he just went very compliment. And I started to laugh. I said, I know exactly how he does it now. It's very compliment, nicey, gushy, nice, dig, and then he always ends nicely. And I said, okay, I got it. I know what I'm looking for now. He'll probably change it. Protecting quarterback. Okay, Mims, 3 snaps. Why did Mims get 3 snaps? Here we go again. Ready? This is what he does. Denzel has been working so hard, to get caught up in everything. And the scheme in the beginning, the play sequence in the beginning of the first half was a certain way. And we had a certain, players for certain plays and, nice. Then all of a sudden he says this. I mean, can you give a bigger dig than this? And Denzel has to realize, the first thing he says is, and what we had is, you go with your 3 best to start out with. And, he said the players, and then he said 3 best. He said, off the bat, we went with Davis, Barrios, and why am I blanking out on the third guy? Elijah Moore. You go with your 3 best guys. So in other words, Barrios is better than Mims. I'm not saying he's in a better learning position right now, or he's more advanced in the practice, schedule this year. I'm not saying that, but the way he said it, I just said, "Wow, that was okay." And then, if that wasn't enough, how about this one? Denzel has to realize that if you're not in the top three, you got to learn the Z guy, you got to learn the Y guy, you got to learn the X guy. In other words, you can't just sit there and learn all your little wideout plays. By now, you should be able to, if we need a guy to jump into the slot, know all the slot plays. And apparently, Denzel Mims doesn't. Either that or Saleh's lying. What else can you take from that? He has to know the entire system and all the plays, because he has to be able to step in for this guy. He has to be able to step in for that guy. And apparently he can't. And there is the gigantic first red flag over Denzel Mims. I mean, that's a huge red flag. Here's a guy that has been out for so long, that has had so much time to bury his head in the playbook. And the way it sounded to me, and I'll put it up for you guys to listen to. It's about midway through. You know what? I'll put the minute and the time. The way it sounded to me is you should know every single play for every single receiver position, and you don't. That's terrible. That's not good. I love Mims. See my top Jets, most important Jets this year. I love Mims. He's a talented dude. But he can't step into the slot because he doesn't understand the playbook? Do me a favor. Check it out yourself. Not good. Not good, guys. That was I really thought that I misunderstood. I played it back a couple times, and then finishes it off. Denzel's working hard. He's talented. He'll get it. Made a great play for us, and the whole thing. And that was it. And that was the press conference. I was shocked. I was shocked. Listen, I like coaches. I really, really do. Being a Yankee fan and listening to Aaron Boone, basically massaging his players every single night. Just a little massage. How's your neck? How's your ankle? How's this? How's that? It makes me, I gotta be honest with you, it makes me sick. Now, I don't want a coach to tear his players apart in the press, but the real great ones, if it's coming, it's coming. It's coming. You're not safe. If it has to be done, it has to be done. And so far, Saleh has basically thrown two guys out there. He didn't throw his defensive coordinator out there. I mean, you could look at the first dig as possibly everybody, but he put LaFleur on notice, get your crap together. When you recognize it, that we have to change the way we're attacking this. And then to say that about Mims, I was surprised. I was really, really surprised. But we're not going to stay negative. We're going to wrap it up in a positive fashion. I couldn't help thinking that Zach Wilson oppressed the heck out of me. He just impressed the hell out of me. The more I look at it and more I think about it and watch it again, it started to hit me that the Jets were one stop away. And I'm not 100% like I would be, let's say, for a Brady at this point in his career, or Mahomes this point in his career. I'm not that sure, but I felt really sure that if the Jets could have gotten a stop, that this guy would have pulled it off the way he was playing that second half. The passes he was completing, the fourth down pass that he completed, whatever it takes. His first NFL game ever, and I feel like that about him. He is a tough SOB. When I looked at his face when he went down that sack, if you watch that play again, he got up. He said the air got knocked out of him. The air got knocked out of him. He got up. I don't know what my first initial thought was. It wasn't that he was hurt. I just remember startled. I was like startled when I looked at him because you could see in his face, he was like, but he gathered himself. You could see him gathering himself. It happened like in 5 seconds. But you can tell something happened, and he said it. He said the air got knocked right out of him. He got hit hard on that play. But again, getting back to it, I really do believe. You know what? I'm not going to even say that anymore. I'm positive we have our quarterback. It's over. I'm positive. Now the question is, very good, great, Hall of Fame. Really, really solid 15-year career. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. I just know it's not a bust. And at this point, son of a B, I'll take that. I'll take that. So that's where we are. That's where we are. You look at everything that's going on right now between the offensive line and I was going to go down another road, and I don't know if I want to go down that road yet, but I'm just going to introduce it. I made videos. This is the beginning. I have total confidence in the staff. I have total confidence in Saleh. I have total confidence in Joe, and I do. I really, really do. I have a lot of confidence in Joe, too. But, you know what? He was probably fooled the way I was fooled, the way we were fooled. You know what? I'm not going to speak for you guys. If you guys really, really thought going into this year that this offensive line wasn't at least improved, I didn't say great, I didn't say very good, but when they went out and got Moses, when they went out and got drafted Tucker, and Moses wasn't, nobody was clamoring for another right tackle. I mean, those who didn't want, yes, that I can understand, but he got him too, and yeah, I'm not going to beat him up yet. I'm not going to beat Joe up yet. I am not going to beat him up yet. What I was going to basically say is, it's 2 seasons, 3 free agents, 2 draft picks on the front, on the offensive line. And, but you know what? I don't know. I don't think you really can yet. I mean, the whole Becton thing. I'm going to say one thing about Becton. And if anybody gives me a comment like, are you trying to really say, the answer is no. No, it has nothing to do with the injury. Nothing. When I saw Becton being taken off the field, if you remember in the video that I made, the most important Jets, I know there are Jet fans out there that don't have a problem with it, which I don't understand. I felt so sorry for that kid as he was being brought off the field. You know why? I couldn't believe how much weight he put on. How did the Jets allow that? How did the Jets allow that? How did they make sure that he came into camp? I mean, is 350, 355 not big enough for a left tackle? I mean, I could not believe when he was taken off that field, walking off that field, the pictures of him, and then him in that cart watching him. And when you see all that weight, and then it's on a 6'6", 6'7" frame, playing left tackle in the NFL. How did the Jets allow that? And again, I'm not. We're not talking about the injury. We're not talking about. It's got nothing to do with the injury. I'm not going there. I just don't understand how that happened. Is that what really blows everybody away about Becton? That when they look at him, he's just gigantic and huge? He can't be a mauler with speed at 350? Does anybody really believe he's just 370 in those pictures? Give me a break. Give me a break, guys. I don't think so, man. I could be no. I don't believe I'm wrong. I'm not kidding you. This is a dead. I'm going to tell you something right now from the bottom of my heart. If I never tell you anything else, that's the truth. I promise you this is. I felt really bad for him walking off that field yesterday, and not because he was hurt. I could not believe a young kid like that, with that much talent, had that much weight. I mean, how did that? And I heard the press asking the questions all spring and summer long. And I thought they were just being like repetitive. They were trying to be respectful about it. Yeah, no, yeah, no, I don't have my own chef. Yeah, I don't need that yet. Yeah. So I know I went on way too long about that. And the reason I went on too long about it is I truly do feel bad. That's dangerous, man. That's dangerous to be that big. And I'm talking about for your health, for your life, you know? I have a funny feeling coming into next year. And I said this is exactly what I said in the video. I said this 3 weeks ago, just so anybody thinks I'm saying it now. I said it 3 weeks ago. It's in the video, Most Important Jets this season. He's number 5, I believe. And what I said back then, I'll say it again. I believe that will be the main focus from Saleh and Douglas, that he is coming back into camp at 350 next year. And if anybody has a problem with 350 still not being able to be a mauler, well, then we need our heads examined. You don't have to be My guess is 380, 385. You don't have to be that big. You know. Anyway, guys, that's it. In the comments, you want to disagree, toss them out there. I will post them. I promise you I'll post them. And I'm just trying to tell you how I feel, and maybe I'm full of it. I don't know. And that's it, guys. Enjoy. I'm going to put the Saleh presser in there, and I'll play it back, and I'll put where he talks about Mims so you guys can see it. And you tell me what you think. Is it possible that I read that wrong? You tell me. Okay? Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.